This is Off the Ice, the Nanaimo Clippers Hockey Show on 106.9 The Wolf. With the latest news on the Clippers and the BCHL, here's Dan Marshall.
Welcome to Off the Ice, the Clippers Hockey Show, the Tuesday edition, the post-Thanksgiving edition. We had to have a day to work off all that turkey. Of course, busy show today. We've got two Clippers here right off the top, Matt Kramer and Lucas Finner. We're going to talk some hockey, play a game with them. The head coach of the Clippers and general manager Mike Vandekamp will join us in our second segment. We also want to give you a chance to win some tickets based on your knowledge of geography. We have a pair of tickets to any Nanaimo Clipper home game up for grabs. You need to know some geography, but it's multiple choice. Joe D, give out the question for people to reply on Facebook or the Wolf Twitter.
All right. The Clippers will be going to Trail, like you mentioned, for their next game. How far away from Nanaimo is Trail? You can Google this, I guess. Is it 709 kilometers or 907 kilometers?
So it's also a 50-50 shot, so you can take a stab in the dark at that. Let's have Lucas Finner and Matt Kramer join us. And guys, you guys have to get to a movie. I don't want to keep you too long, but you're going to see Deepwater Horizon tonight. So we'll get both of you to answer this. Lucas, you're up first. The best Mark Wahlberg movie?
I go Ted, probably.
Ted.
Sure.
Not Ted 2, though. Definitely not Ted 2.
Either one. They're both.
No, Ted was way better than Ted 2. Ted 2 was Matt Kramer, best Mark Wahlberg movie?
I was gonna say Ted. I probably should know more, but I don't know.
If you believe in Ted, then you can say it.
Yeah, Ted.
I'll admit, I own Ted. I thought that was really good, but I went to see Ted 2, and I was kind of disappointed. Kind of felt old and tired, like we'd been there and done that. Let's move on, talk some hockey. We'll start with Lucas Finner. Lucas, thoughts on playing together? You and Matt have played a lot this season. How's that gone for you?
Yeah, we started playing a little last year, too, together, so we had some chemistry since then, but I think the last few games have been some of our strongest games this year, and the chemistry is definitely still building, and I think we get a lot of scoring chances, so it's working pretty good.
We've got you in front of the worst microphone in history. Can you get a little closer to that?
Yes.
There we go. So just move your chair up. Sit as close to that as humanly possible.
Alrighty.
You sounded like you're in a missile silo there, so get super close, and that way we'll hear you better. Next question is about your summer. Coming back, what did you need to do in the summertime for training, for getting ready for year two as a Clipper, and what did you do?
Well, I did a lot of speed and agility training just to quicken my footwork and get faster on the ice, and I also did a lot of strength training. Just for a stronger shot, stronger on the puck, things like that, just more possession time.
When you came back and I watched you for the first couple of games and through the preseason, I thought, Lucas Finner's made a jump. But then I look from game 1 into game 11, and I think, wow, between those 11 games, I think you've made even a bigger jump. Have you felt similarly that way?
Thanks, Dan. I feel like I've been improving since game 1. That's pretty much the goal, just keep getting better and practice every day, try your hardest, just keep getting better.
It looks to me like you're getting comfortable, though, becoming more of a frontline player. Like you're looking the part right now.
Well, yeah, I feel pretty confident on the ice. Hopefully it can continue, and I can keep putting pucks in the net, I guess. I don't know.
Is there pressure with Mike Vandekamp now that you're a veteran guy and you're being put in offensive situations? Is there pressure? Do you feel that you have to score?
Well, there's definitely a bigger responsibility and a bigger role for me. I wouldn't say it's pressure, but it's kind of just my responsibility as a Clipper. It's my part on the team is to help us score goals.
What needs to be better? And you don't need to do a lot better. It was so close last week against Trail, but what does need to be better to pick up 2 points on Friday when you see that team again?
I think we played pretty good against Trail on Friday, but I think just some 60 minutes complete game, including overtime. We just got to put the puck in the net, capitalize on their mistakes, and we should be fine.
You're committed to Ferris State. Do you know for sure that you're going at the end of this year, or potentially could you come back and play one more year?
I've been committed for 2017 since I was a midget hockey player. So right now that's my plan, but I don't know. I guess you never know, but that's my plan right now.
Matt Kramer, similarly with you, coming back for this year as a Clipper, what did you have to do in your mind in the off season in terms of your training to get ready to take that step in your career?
I think I did kind of similar things Lucas did. I did a lot more running this summer on the track to kind of increase my speed, which is kind of the one thing I needed to improve on. And I think I think that benefited me because I feel a lot faster this year. I feel like I've gained a step, and just like the other stuff, I was in the gym a lot, but the track was definitely the biggest thing that helped me this summer.
What's it like playing regularly with Lucas? Why is it working between the two of you guys?
I would just say from last year, I mean, we played together a lot last year. We know where each other's going to be on the ice, and it's just one of those things. You just feel comfortable with him, and it's just easy to get him the puck, and he's going to get it back to me, and he's a quicker guy, so keeping up with him makes me a better player too.
You've been pretty consistently putting up points so far this season. How do you feel about your offensive production?
Good. I'm just trying to contribute as I can. I mean, not just about points, but just doing all the little things to being a good all-around player.
Do you have a few more of those Prince George games in you from last year? I'm sure you remember it. I'm sure fans remember it. It was almost the game of your life last year against Prince George when you had the hat trick.
I certainly hope so, Dan. I know we joke around. We just call it the shift or like the period because that third period was something else. I mean, the first couple periods weren't the greatest, but the third period was probably the best period I've ever played. And, I mean, as a line, played pretty well.
You know that you have to probably get by Powell River because it seems like every year you play Powell River in the playoffs. They come in here this weekend on a 7-game winning streak, and you guys play a very consistent game, win 4-2. What did that do for the confidence of the team?
I think it's what we really needed as a team. We were really looking for a win, and I think we played pretty well on Friday night, but obviously didn't get the result we wanted. But I think it took a lot for us to come back Saturday night and dig deep, and we played pretty well Saturday night, and I think it did a lot for the team, just confidence-wise, and just as a team made us feel a little bit better and getting a win.
We've got Lucas Finner and Matt Kramer here. We're going to play a game with them now for a completely random prize pack. Today's completely random prize pack. They can take it with them to movie night and share in the completely random items. There's 2 items in this prize pack. The game is called We're All the Same. And what this is it's comparing and contrasting Canada and the United States. So you have to answer true or false to these questions. And I'm either going to point out something that's the same in Canada, in the U.S., or different. So first person to chime in, get your bells ready. You've got call bells in front of you. Get those ready. First person to chime in gets the answer. Joe is going to keep score. The game is called We Are All the Same. Chime in as quickly as you can. Lucas Finner against Matt Kramer. Both countries have a dollar bill. Lucas Finner.
False.
That is correct. Canada has the coin, the loonie, and the Americans have the dollar bill. 1-0 Finner. Joe keeps score. I'm notoriously bad at math. The posted highway speed in both countries is 55 miles an hour. Lucas Finner.
False.
That is false. What's it in Canada?
65?
No, it's 90 kilometers an hour.
So.
Yeah, 90 kilometers. And it's close, but posted.
Not
would be
fair. He's from here.
No.
Family.
Family. He's not from here.
Fair enough.
That is. You've been here for over a year. You've
True.
picked up a few of these things. You've
true.
driven on the highway before.
That's true.
Okay. Excuse making. We don't buy that here. There's no excuse making. I'm almost wanting to dock Kramer to -1, but I'm not going to. You can get craft dinner in both countries. That was a tie. Tie goes to Kramer.
That's true.
That is true. You can get craft dinner in both countries. 1-1 tie. Sorry, 2-1 Finner. 2-1 Finner.
1-1.
No, 2-1 Finner. That was me. The American national anthem is sung at CFL football games. That was, I think, Finner.
False.
False. It's not. Just the Canadian anthem. Just the Canadian anthem. Finner continues to lead. We are all the same. Canadian and American things that are either similar or different. Most Canadians think Donald Trump is one cool dude. Lucas Finner.
Oh,
Definitely false.
definitely false.
False it is. Finner, he's beating you to the punch on these. That's legitimate.
Yeah.
Watching the buzzer, he's beating you on this.
I'm answering. I know the answer, though.
It's about quickness, too.
It is.
Right? It's not just about knowledge. It's about quickness. Multifaceted game here. We're all the same on Off the Ice. Air Canada has flights to the United States. Matt Kramer.
That's true.
It is true. Very good. Just on top of that one.
Let you have that one.
No, you didn't.
Felt bad.
Both countries have English as their only official language. That was a tie. Who'd you like, Joe? I kind of liked Finner, but who'd you like there?
I'm going to go with Lucas Finner.
Lucas Finner. Okay, Lucas.
I'm going to say false.
False?
Yes.
False is correct. We have French here in Canada and English, 2 official languages. You buy gas by the gallon in both countries.
Oh.
False.
What is in Canada?
It is liters.
Liters is correct. In the U.S., the president lives in the White House. The place the Canadian prime minister lives in is also called the White House. Matt Kramer.
That's false.
That is false. That is correct.
Back on the board.
It lives at a place called 24 Sussex Drive. And it has a long official name, but they just refer to it as 24 Sussex Drive in Ottawa. What's the score, Joe?
It is 6-3 for Lucas Finner.
6-3 Lucas Finner. Last question. Finner's already won the random prize pack. Ketchup chips are not available in most places in the U.S. Let's give it to Kramer, this one.
Yeah, I'm going to say false.
True. You can't get ketchup chips in most places in the U.S.
I haven't seen him in Chicago.
I've never seen them before.
That's what I said. Ketchup chips are not available in most places in the U.S.
Oh, way to go, Creed.
So it's true. That's true.
You
That's
just
a
said
true
the same
statement.
thing.
No, I was going to say true.
So you guys can take this to the movie. It's movie night. The random prize pack in this bag, there is a whoopee cushion, which could be fun for the movies. And there's also, that is an official Seattle Seahawks 12th man radio. That is just out of the box, never been used.
Go
the 12th
Patriots.
man radio from Quest Field in Seattle, circa last year in December. So official. I don't know if you're a Seahawk fan. Probably not, where you guys are from on the
Go
East Coast.
Patriots.
Guys, thanks so much for doing this. Get out of here. Go enjoy your team movie night. We'll see you for the game on Friday.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Clippers in Trail Friday, in Penticton Saturday, in Merritt Sunday. Lucas Finner and Matt Kramer here on Off the Ice. We are back on Off the Ice, the Clippers hockey show. I'm joined by the head coach and general manager, Mike Vandekamp. Very gracious in not going first and off the top. That's part of our routine, but we switched it up. It's a team building day for the players. Coach, must be a pretty good feeling around the club right now. 3 out of 4 points on the weekend, and I would say 125 pretty solid minutes, except maybe for the last shot in the Trail game.
Yeah, I thought we played pretty well this weekend. Pretty decent turnaround for us. The weekend before had been kind of inconsistent. We had a good game against Coquitlam, but we didn't have one on the Sunday against Vernon, and just fighting for some consistency with the team now, and that's what we talked about all week, and trying to get a little bit smarter as a team, a little bit sharper and more consistent each game. And I thought of the 6 periods and a little bit of overtime this weekend, we were pretty sharp. Still felt like we were probably deserving of maybe a 2 points on that the game against Trail. Not to take anything away from them. I think they played well, but at the same time, we felt like we carried quite a bit of the play, and just couldn't quite finish some chances off. But it was a good game, and then the next night was a really good game with Powell River. It was a hard fought barn burner game between two rivals. So I thought it was an excellent game on Saturday.
You had to like defensively, giving up 2 goals against Trail and only 1 in regulation, and 2 goals against Powell River. I thought you were pretty tidy in your own end, although Powell River had more chances than I know Trail did. You didn't give Trail hardly anything on the Friday game.
Well, Friday was really good. We felt, at least according to our tracking and stuff, they only had like 4 chances from inside the house in our own end. So, we did a pretty good job defensively in that game. The second game, I think Powell River's always, they always play us tough. It's always going to be a close game, and they did get some good chances, but so did we. And I thought probably the difference in that game for us was Evan's play. I think it was obviously his best game in our uniform, and he stepped up and was really solid and made some timely saves for us when we needed him to, and that's part of it, especially at our level. I think you still need some goaltending at times, because it's a game built on mistakes at the junior A level, and there's always going to be some in every game. You're trying to limit those as much as you can, but capitalize on the ones that the other team makes and hopefully get the odd save. And I think that's kind of what happened in the Powell River game.
Evan's a confident guy, and he talked to us right after the game, and said, you know what, his confidence had never wavered. He had gone 0-3, and there'd been some goals against, so whether it was through some of the things he did or some of the situations that your team was in at the time. But he said he hadn't wavered at all. He was absolutely confident. But for any player and for a goalie that comes in with credentials, the potential to be that number one type guy, how important was it for him to get that win against an excellent team and also personally to be such a big part of it?
Well, I think it was really important for him, especially going into, this stretch of games coming off and a tough road trip, and he needed some confidence. I mean, he was working really, really hard. That's what I was so impressed with. I think you and I might have touched on this before, but, we got different listeners every night, so I'll tell the story again. But when he opened his bag up when he got here, he had actual cobwebs on his pads. So that's the truth. So he hadn't even opened his hockey bag since last season ended. He really wasn't intending on playing this year. He was going to go to school, and he changed his mind and decided to pursue hockey again with more seriousness and try to get a scholarship. And he didn't have training camp, he didn't have exhibition, he didn't have any of the practices or camp games that everybody else has. I mean, so this was all going to be sort of learning as we go here with him and kind of knocking the rust off, literally. And we knew he'd be a good, solid goaltender. I really like his demeanor. He's really mature, and he's level-headed and calm, and he brings a maturity to our team overall. And I think, we were really determined to try to see him, hopefully find his game as fast as possible. And, the first three starts didn't go as well for him, but that was definitely a good start. He's not out of the woods yet. He's got to get consistent now. He's got to remain consistent and play well. But I think to get to that point, he needed to get a win and have a good game to build off of, and that was definitely one for him.
It's hard to judge the difference between what it would mean for a player or for a goalie, but just as an athlete, how difficult is it to have that much time off mentally and physically and come right into the rigors of a BC Hockey League season?
Well, I think it'd be very difficult for any position player. Your timing's off. You're not in condition physically, which does hurt your mental side too, just because you're breathing hard. You're fighting just to, catch up physically, I think. And that takes away from the mental side too. And your timing is a big one, like I said. And it's not like riding a bike. And in some ways it is. You kind of dive in there and you remember how it all goes, but it just doesn't come naturally. And that's why guys train so hard in the off season, and especially at this level, and they work so hard to make strides in the off season. And, here's a young man that just really was going a different direction in his life. And, so I think the best is yet to come with him. And the biggest thing, and I talked to him about this before the weekend, before we even went into that game, I knew he was going to play well. I told him that because he's worked so hard, like 2 weeks straight. Every drill he's done, he's worked his tail off. We did a lot of skating. He skated every single drill as hard as he could. When it was his turn to skate, he was going as hard as he can, and you could see he wanted it. So, I think we pumped his tires up a little bit and let him know that didn't go unnoticed. You've been committing yourself. You've been working hard. That shows that you really want to turn this thing around, and I'm convinced you will, and we believe in you. And you know what? He went in there and did a good job. So, like I said, hopefully he can keep it going. It's just one game, so he has to keep proving himself moving forward, that's for sure.
Another brand new situation for your group this year, a young group, and a lot of guys new to Junior A. Some guys maybe that have not had a long travel trip with 3-3 before at any other level of hockey that they've been in. But you go out the day before all the way to Castlegar. You play in Trail Friday, Penticton Saturday. There's an overnight trip in there. You have to go up to Merritt on Sunday. It's a 3-3. You haven't done that this year, and it's the longest travel trip that you've done this year as well. Is there some teaching that has to go on just about what guys have to do to conduct themselves, not just on the ice, but off the ice to get through something like this?
Yeah, I think there will be, and I think there'll be a little bit more hands-on for myself as the coach to guide us step by step. Even the off day. This is how this is what we should be doing today. I mean, it's an off day. It's a travel day. It is about, I think, being social and having some fun with your teammates and really using that time wisely. It's not every day that you get to spend 12 hours together on a bus traveling, and I think you want to use that time wisely and maybe get into some games and into something fun and not just sit there and stare at a computer screen or whatever these kids have nowadays. And, get some social in and use that time. And then from there, taking care of our bodies, and we're going to get a tough challenge coming out of trail on Friday, and then I'll probably getting in Penticton maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and having to play an early start 6 o'clock game the next day, and followed by a 2 o'clock game. So it's 3 different start times, 3 different cities, lots of distance traveled, but you got to get out there and just learn as you go. That's what this season's all about. So this is another first for our group, and it'll be an interesting challenge, both physically and mentally, and not being intimidated in other teams' rinks and being able to go in there and play well on the road. So it's going to be a fun challenge for the team.
A lot of times you'll go to Castlegar the day before the game and you'll try and get in a game day skate the morning of a game in trail. And I think that's important because it's such a long bus day. Is that something in the plans this year?
Well, we couldn't get ice. We tried, but we couldn't get ice. So and that's something at this level of hockey that makes sometimes things challenging, right? We're all playing in rinks that are used by the whole entire community and all these smaller communities that we play in, but we've got a good plan for what we're going to do on Friday, and it's not really about the time on the ice; it's about the sweat and getting the legs going. And so we've got some good plans for a real true workout there on Friday morning that'll get everybody going and waking everybody up and getting back into game mode. I think the rest will be fine on Thursday. We've actually worked the guys pretty darn hard here again this week. We haven't laid off one bit. And so I think Thursday will be an okay day for us anyways, and just kind of re-energize everybody. And then Friday, it's a good work day for us. And we'll get the legs going, and you don't need to necessarily be on the ice to do that.
It was a 1-1 game between yourselves and Trail through 60 minutes. So is it a case a little bit on Friday of which team can make the best adjustments to what they know now the other team is going to bring that might have the success here?
I think so. I think with the immediate turnaround playing each other like that, we can use a little bit of film and have a good look at what those guys were doing out there that we might be able to adjust and give ourselves a little bit of a better chance. A little bit of a rivalry gets built just because we had such a good hard-fought game with them, and all of a sudden we're playing them right away again. They've been playing well. I think they swept the road trip they're on, so that says a lot about where they're at as a club. And I'm not sure. I didn't check the schedule if they play between now and then, but if they don't, obviously they're coming in on a pretty good high, having swept the road trip. But sometimes that first game back at home can be a challenge for them. So we'll have to jump on those guys right away. It should make for a really good game. They got a good club this year, and I made mention of this, sort of privately in conversation, but they got a young coach there. I remember when he played in the league, and I think he's done a great job early on. I met him this year at a high-performance coaching clinic we were at, and you know what? I think he's done a nice job with that team. They played a good, solid game the other night against us, and I know they've played pretty well here early on in the season, and they're making some strides as a team. So it's good to see for a team in the other division that they're doing well there, and makes for a good challenge for us.
Just as a fan, and when you're a coach, it's hard to put that fan hat on, but when I look at the Island Division, I look at the standings quite a bit, and it's so tight in the Island Division right now. Nobody's fallen out of the race yet. I would think that every hockey club right now believes, hey, if we have a couple of good weeks, we can be at the top of the division. But since you and I have been in the Island Division, it's not normally like this. This is kind of fun.
Yeah, it is. It has been a really tight start. I think it'll continue to be that way for the first half of the season. And then, you might see a little separation. You kind of usually do. It seems like some teams are able to make a turn and kind of take off. Obviously, we're hoping to be that club. But it is tight, and it's too early to be really looking at standings, and we never do anyway. We're really just trying to focus on being a more consistent team. And, for the first time in a while, we put together 2 pretty well-played games. So it gives us a chance to build on something moving forward here. It's a tough test throwing in a 3-game road trip like that, but there's no excuses really. I mean, I just mentioned it. If Trail can drive that far, come over here and pick up 6 points, and they had to ride a ferry to get over to their Sunday game. That's says it all in a nutshell. I mean, we can do the same thing. So it really doesn't. There's no excuses. We've kind of proven to ourselves that we can play well and we can win hockey games when we're focused and we play a good, solid team game and everybody plays hard. So the only expectation is no matter what rink we're in, we expect that same team to show up for our side, and that's what this weekend will be all about.
Will Lanieve made a key play on the Lucas Finner goal on Saturday as a forward. Was that an experiment, or is that something that you want to take a long look at?
I think it's something we want to take a long look at. I think Will played a lot of forward last year and most of the season, actually, even though he's was kind of a D-man that switched to forward and wanted to be a D-man. But, I think he likes playing forward too. It's just, he needs to know where he's going to be. So that's what we've talked to him about is, trying to focus on that for now. I think he brings a dynamic that, any team would be looking for, and we were looking for. And it was right in our own backyard. He's 6'4". He can skate really well. He loves chasing the puck and hunting the puck. He loves having the puck. He's got a good shot. He's got good skills. And I think some of the things that he was challenged with as a defenseman, I think can actually be strengths as a forward. So, that's why we made the change. And he's a good spirit, Will. He brings a lot of spirit to the team. And I think everyone's enjoyed watching him move up front. And I thought he played really well this weekend.
Miles Cunningham comes in on D, and a guy that has a heck of a shot. He's a big body back there, a young guy that is obviously going to need to learn the BCHL and the rigors of it. And I think probably an eye-opener when you play a team that can get on you like the Powell River Kings can on Saturday. Is he a guy that you expect is going to make improvements quickly, or is it a longer-term project with him?
Well, he's another young guy, right? Even though he played about 50-something games or whatever in the USHL last year, he is only a 98, an 18-year-old guy. So he's still got lots to learn. And those guys are going to make steps real fast, I would think, as young players. The more ice time that you give them and, the more opportunities that they get, they start to learn to play and find their game. And I think you'll see him keep getting better every weekend. I like what Miles brings to the table. He's got good size to start with. He's got a very good shot offensively. He can make some plays with a puck. I think he's got to do some things harder, more consistently with his just his intensity overall and kind of having a heavy stick and being strong and at times. But we'll work with him on that stuff. He's shown again another guy with a good attitude and good spirit, for sure. And I think he's got a really bright future on our team.
I'm trying to figure out when it comes to roles on the team if they're becoming more defined or if because everybody was so new, if I'm just picking up on it more. But with everybody being so new, is that something that has evolved in terms of your philosophy? Okay, I kind of get a sense of what roles I want guys to have now. Or is that something that you've kind of had in mind more since day one and I'm just picking up on it because the guys are so new? I've had a hard time figuring that out for myself.
I think I had a pretty good idea, but I think the inconsistencies in our play have kind of challenged that a little bit. You sort of think a guy can maybe give you something, and then, the next game he's not really the same guy. And, we've talked openly with our team about that. That makes it next to impossible to try to figure out who's going to do what around here and who's going to be, our go-to guys in certain situations if we just don't know what to expect from you on a daily basis. So we need our players to become more consistent and a little bit more predictable to ourselves, at least, of what they're going to bring to the table. And I think part of that, too, is them understanding what we expect of them, too. So it's a give and take sort of relationship. I mean, we have to be very clear on what we expect, and they need to learn what that is and how to play the team game within the structure that we're asking. And the more that they can do that, then with some consistency, then we can start to figure out where guys kind of fit in. And so I think it's taken on its own sort of charting its own course here with this group this year. But we're starting to learn more about it, and we're starting to see where we can find some chemistry in our lineup and, what guys are suited for what roles. And some of our youngest players have, really proven that they have a lot to give here too, So it's been fun to watch those guys go out and have real successful shifts. And everybody builds a little confidence as you go along, as long as you keep using everyone and giving everyone the opportunity to play. And that's what we intend on doing.
Coach, appreciate the time as always and looking forward to the road trip.
Yeah, me too, Dan. See you on Thursday.
Time to play hockey trivia. We had a ton of interest. Geography. Joe D, give us the question, the answer, and our winner.
Well, like you said, the Clippers are going to Trail for their next game. So how far away from Nanaimo is Trail? We gave you two options, 709 kilometers or 907. And Bobsleigh went even further and said it's actually, Dan, 708.4, which is the closest to 709.
Nice. Nicely done, Bob. On behalf of Joe D, this is Dan Marshall. Good night from Off the Ice.
You've been listening to Off the Ice, the Clippers Hockey Show. Join us again next Monday night at 7 on Nanaimo's Rock, 106.9 The Wolf.